Well, hi everybody. Sorry for the short delay. I'm Tim Gentle, and today we are having a webinar on social media strategy. Pretty exciting, the world of social media, oh so big. Where do you focus your attention? How do you get the skills? What do my customers really want? These are all the topics we're going to be tapping into. So without further ado, let's get started. I'll share my screen with you. We've got lots of people from across Australia. Good to see you all. I'm joining you live from Bendigo, so that's pretty cool. All right, so rock and roll. Okay, so what is a social media strategy? Let's get started. So I'm a digital crusader and I'm an educator. I'm also an entrepreneur. I've started my own business and sold it, but I really am a regional, rural, and remote advocate. I know you're out there. I know you need help, and I'm here for you. So I created an online marketing 101 series, and today's topic, we're going to be diving into social media. So we've already done websites. That was awesome. We tapped into Google, which was search engine optimization. And we're up to number 3 now, social media strategy. Okay, so what are we going to be learning today? Well, first of all, we're going to be learning what a social media strategy is. I really want to help you generate more leads to your business or organization, but I want to give you the skills to move forward with. I want to help you measure success. You're going to put in a lot of energy and a lot of effort, potentially some money as well. So how do you know it's all working? And at the end, I want to spend a little bit of time sort of absorbing it all and taking in the things that you learned and creating an action plan to move forward. Alrighty, so the topics. Well, we're going to talk about the benefits of social media, and then we'll tap into what a social media strategy is. From there, I'm going to be looking at social media channels. I'll be looking at Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And then we'll have a look at some social media tools that could be handy for you to use. And this topic I like to call social media integration. We'll have a quick look at advertising. We'll talk about what that is and potentially how to go about doing it. We'll talk about ways to measure how well you're doing, and then I'll give you some steps to move forward with. Okay, so what is social media? Well, I actually define social media as your online heartbeat. Okay, this is really shows your brand, your business, your organization is alive. It creates a community of people that are interested in what you're doing, who then get involved. They might start sharing, liking, and commenting about what you're up to. It's about social proof. It's about creating credibility. Social media is literally networking with people online and creating social proof and getting an understanding what people think about you, and really also giving your interpretation of, your interpretation of issues. So what are the benefits of social media? Well, first of all, it can increase your search engine rankings. It's amazing to think that, but actually Google does look at what you're doing in social media. It looks at what other people are saying about you in social media, and in one respect, it humanizes the search engine rankings. You can reach people at the early stages of the buying cycle. So what I mean by that is, some people are laying on the couch. They might have their tablet in their, in their hands, and they're thinking of buying that car. They're thinking of going on that holiday. They're thinking of taking up that hobby. And so what you can do is start planting the seed early about your brand. It's a bit like the Qantas little toy jet that you used to get if, your parents went overseas, they used to bring it home, or even the Bunnings forklift or truck that they're handing out now. It gets into your brain, and then later on, when you're really interested in buying, you'll have a brand recall moment. Now, it can drive traffic to your website. Of course, you can pick them up out of social media, and then you can drop them onto your website. It can increase conversion rates. It has the ability to help you sell better, by people leaving reviews about you on, say, TripAdvisor, or, even in Google Plus and Google Maps. But, it helps create, better conversions. So, for example, you might be selling a lawnmower, and you could have a video about that lawnmower next to the shopping cart to increase the person's understanding of the product, and then hence getting them to go from I'm thinking of buying to buying, which is known as a conversion. And also it helps repeat purchases. It gets them back to your website, back into your shopping cart, back into buying a ticket to an event. You can take them out of Facebook, you can bring them in from Twitter, and you can get them to repeat purchase. And best of all, and I think not that this is at the end, I believe this is really important, it creates advocacy. So, what's advocacy? Well, advocacy is when someone, is talking about your brand behind your back. It's about what people are saying at the pub. It's about what, the vibe is about who you are. It's about people selling your message without you paying them to do it. You create what's called advocates. So social media is fantastic for that. Okay, so we'll move on now. What is a social media strategy? Well, a social media strategy is looking at really social media and deciding what you want to achieve. It's about goal setting. I want our social media to find skilled staff to come and work on my cattle station. I want social media to help me sell tickets to my events. I want social media to help me clear out excess stock. I want social media to help me build our brand. So you've really got to define what you want it to achieve. You're not just doing it because Frank down the road's got a Facebook page. It's about finding and servicing your customers' needs. What do they want on social media, and how are you going to be able to provide that? It's about taking responsibility, and that's not just from the bottom level. That's about an organizational adoption of social media. It's about a top level support from the president of the organization or the CEO of the company. It's about creating policies and procedures. If someone says something negative about you, well, what are you going to be doing? And what is the process of, taking a photo and then branding it and then putting it up on your Facebook page? What's the process? And if you have many people sort of updating your Facebook page, what is the voice that you're trying to, project? And how can you all wear one hat instead of an individual hat? It's about producing content. It's about going out and getting the skills, if you haven't got them, and creating videos and creating photos and creating content. And it's about monitoring and measuring. So, how am I doing? What are people liking? Gee, that worked. I'm going to try that again. So developing a social media strategy is putting some boundaries and some expectations around social media. Now, I have a 3-hour workshop on this particular topic, of which we fill in the form that allows you to then create a strategy to take back to your organization or your committee meeting, or to use it for succession planning. But really, I've pulled the best bits out of the social media strategy, and there's some of the highlights. All right, so we're going to get into the social media channels, and yep, why not start off with the big boy? Let's start off with Facebook. So first of all, Facebook, there's actually over 1.5 billion users. Now that's a lot of people, but 77% of the Australian population is on Facebook, all right? So that's a huge percentage. If you're trying to capture, the majority of the online market in Australia, well, they're hanging out in Facebook. And do you know that 75% of them return every day? And 10 million of them are accessing it on a mobile device. Really important to note. So, you know, Facebook's huge. It's a great opportunity. It's the big fish of the social media world. And when you go out to find and use that big fish to capture some of your own little customers or members, you know that there's going to be a lot of people out there to target. So let me give you some tips. So first of all, you need to understand the Google algorithm. Now, let me just explain what that is. So Google has an algorithm. Now, picture this. You've got a river and you're standing in the river and it's flowing towards you, okay? And, you know, the water's sort of rushing past your feet. Now, what happens is if someone posts something on social media in Facebook, that post will come down the river and another post and another post. Maybe you could think of them as leaves, you know, they've fallen off the tree and they're floating down. Now, if you see that leaf, but you don't pick it up, in brackets, you don't like it, share it, repost it, comment, and just let the leaf go past, then then Facebook will remember that. So what happens is that you may like a page. Hey, I'll like the Seymour Shows Facebook page. And for the first few weeks, you'll see all these sort of posts coming your way through your Facebook feed. But then if you haven't picked up that leaf, if you haven't liked it or share it, suddenly it kind of starts to disappear. That's because Facebook's trying to clean up your river. It's trying to clean up your Facebook feed. So understand that Facebook has an algorithm, and for you to get your customers, your potential members to pick up the leaf, you have to have 3 things to consider when you're posting. And they are, you need to have affinity, okay? So, you know, what are people going to get out of it? You know, what are they going, you know, did they like it? Did they share it? The next thing you need to have is recency. Are you sharing something from 2009 or did this happen this morning? And the last one that you need to have is, I can't remember. And it's something to do with, I'll remember in a minute. But either way, you have to have, you know, this idea that for your post to appear in their feed, you need to have recency, you need to have affinity, and come on, Tim, it's gone. Either way, if it's not appearing in their feed, you'll need to do some advertising to get it to come up and then hit on their leg. You'll need to advertise it to get it back in front of them again. So hold on tight. I'll try and come up with that third one. But that just shows that I am very, very human there. All right. Where are we? We'll go to this one now. Alrighty. You need to know what your customers want in their feed, okay? So what I mean by that is, you know, for it to be picked up, for the leaf to be picked up, you need to ask your customers, hey, I'm curious, I've got a Facebook page. What sort of things would keep you engaged in my feed? You know, what sort of things would help do you want? Do you want tips and tricks? Do you want invites to events? You know, do you want videos? Do you want photos? Do you want downloadable sort of fact sheets? What do you want? Do you want humor, recipes? So you need to ask them, and hence you'll then be able to combat the algorithm. You need to be consistent and you need to listen, okay? So it's important not to always speak. Ask people questions and look at the responses. And look, you need to use photos and video, but please understand the data issues around at the moment. You might be watching or hearing about data drought in rural and regional and remote locations in Australia. So, you know, you sometimes need to dumb it down. If you're talking, when I mean dumb it down, you know, don't necessarily use large videos all the time, because quite simply people don't have the capacity to download them. And link back to your website, okay? So, you know, make sure that when you're doing a post, you know, think about, all right, create a page on your website or create a blog article and then use Facebook to link them. So you then post on Facebook and link them back to your site. All right, I'm going to have a quick little look at Facebook now. So let's jump into that. I'll just quickly show you a few things. I can't cover everything in detail, as you could imagine. We'll jump on to my Facebook page. This is a new one that I've created, and you'll see here that this is known as a profile pic here. So you can update that and add your own profile. And this is known as I call it a cover photo or a header image. So this is sort of the layout. And just to let you know, this is a Facebook page. See up here, I've got my Tim hat on, all right? But if I come over here, I can put my personal hat on too. So this one here is my business. It's a bit difficult because I've got the same name for my business. But if I want to represent the Royal Melbourne Show, or if I want to sort of take off my personal hat, I can click this here, and now I'm wearing my business hat. So just keep an eye on that. Yours will say your business name or potentially your society or your show's name. Now, just scrolling down, this is known as a timeline. Okay, so this is the timeline. I was involved in a discussion last night with Ag Chat Oz. That was quite an interesting one. And these are known as posts. Alrighty. Now, just some really basic stuff, but worth noting in the webinar. So when you're writing a post, try and use what's known as a hashtag. Why? Because it becomes active. It becomes clickable. So if you wanted to highlight something, for example, if you wanted to, highlight the word Mildura, you'll see here that that's gone blue. So if I just type Mildura without the hashtag, then it's not active. If we scroll down, you'll see some posts here. This is a little hashtag that was in a post I did last night. And so what happens is when I click on Ag Chat Oz or Data Drought, watch what this, click. I'm now going to be able to see all the posts in Facebook that have used Data Drought. And so you can see here, ABC, Landline, and Bessie. So I wouldn't have found potentially Bessie if she didn't use the hashtag. So quite important to emphasize some words when you're posting. So I'll pop back to my profile. The other one I like to do is you can tag businesses. So by putting the @ symbol in front, and then you can start typing, say, help for small business. You'll see here that I've now been able to tag a business. Now, this will be recorded. I'm moving at a fairly quick rate, but just note, by putting an @ symbol and then doing a search, say, for example, if I wanted to search for me, Think.Digital, you just keep typing, and then eventually it pops up, okay? And then you click on the blue and it replaces the @ symbol. So when you're doing posts, you could say something like, here we are in hashtag Alice Springs. Thanks to, and then I'm giving credit here. Now, there's lots more you can do. And in fact, today's not a lab, it's more of an overview, but understand that there are a couple of really good tips when doing some posting. All right, I'm going to pop back into the presentation now. And we're now going to move on to Twitter. So Twitter is brilliant. I love it. And, some people go, well, I've never used it, or I want to use it, but I don't understand it. Well, Twitter to me is like a microblog, and you get up to 140 characters to get your message across. And there's quite a lot of people. In fact, there's 500 million users in Twitter, and the fastest growing age demographic is 55 to 64. Now, 60% of people are using Twitter on their mobile, and they're sort of browsing through the people that they're following in Twitter, and they're grabbing information or they're clicking on links and learning more. There's about 400 million tweets a day. Of course, you don't get all of them in your feed. You only get the tweets from the people that you choose to follow. Now, when it comes to Twitter, some of my tips are things like, well, you can participate in industry conversation. It can be really good for branding or for your knowledge. You can connect directly with individuals. So, you can ping them if that's a way to describe it. But, Facebook is a little bit broadcasty. It's a, kind of a mass broadcast, unless you tag people in the posts, of course. But, with Twitter, I'm quite often having conversations with individuals. Now, in Twitter, you also want to be using the hashtag and the @ symbol. Now, the @ symbol in Twitter is known as a Twitter handle. But definitely listen, listen to industry and listen to your customers and, listen to what people say. And, again, use photos and video. You can embed photos, you can embed video, but please understand the data usages of the people out in the bush. And by all means, link your tweets, again, back to Rome, back to your website. Get them out of Twitter and get them onto your website. So I'll quickly have a little look at Twitter now, give you a bit of a quick overview. Obviously, it's hard to do it all, but let's have a little look here. So welcome to my Twitter account. Now, in Twitter, you definitely don't have to have a personal account and a business account. You just, open up a Twitter account. So just go to twitter.com and register yourself. Now, up the top here, again, we've got a profile pic. And whenever you do a tweet, this will appear next to it. You can see Gavin's has popped up here. This is known as a header image, and you can have whatever banner art you want up the top there as well. Now, scrolling down, this is my timeline, or this is, in one respect, the tweets that I've done. And in fact, if I click tweets and replies, I can see here that I've replied to some as well. So you're looking at some of my tweets over the last 24, 48 hours, and I got involved in some discussions and tweeted and did all sorts of things here. Now over here, this is your profile. So if you have a little look at my profile, it talks about who you are, but you can also do a link back to your website. So that's great for SEO and obviously good to get people back to your site. Now, when you're tweeting, you just click up the little button up here and you click compose a new tweet. Now, again, I would recommend that we use the hashtag. So when you're hashtagging something, by all means, do it. So Lakes Entrance Festival is on again. Come on. And you could say, we have at, and then you could say a performer or a business or an organization coming along. We have the farmers coming along, okay? So you can see here I use the @ symbol. I started talking, all right? And then it brings up all the people that I can tag. So if you had Joanne Jacobs coming along, you could then do that. Now, the good thing about using the @ symbol is they'll be notified that someone's tweeted about them. So the Vic farmers will get what's called a notification, and they'll go, oh, who's tweeting about me? Now, you can also link them back to your website. So by all means, pop onto your website, grab yourself a link. We just go to mine for the sake of wanting to do it. Control C, I'm copying that link. I'm going back into Twitter, Control V, and I'm pasting it. So you could say something like tickets available. And then you can direct them to your website. You can do a lot more. By all means, add some images, add some video, and you can even tag your location if you're using a GPS-enabled device or something like that. So once you go tweet, bang, I won't tweet, of course, that one there will appear in your Twitter feed. Now, quite often, there's some people out there in my webinars tweeting after the webinar, but I would love you to have a go at tweeting now. In fact, I'll do one myself. So let's bring up the camera. Stop. Okay, got my camera, guys, and I'm going into Twitter. This is going to be a bit weird. I'll have to take a photo first. So I'll take a photo, I'll do a selfie. All right, here we go. Coming to you live from the, how do I do it, selfie? Smile, Tim. All right, so I've taken a selfie and I will tweet this live while I'm doing a webinar. So coming to you live from the Think.Digital webinar series. So I'll post this now, learn more, and I'll just do my web link. I'm typing as fast as I can, everybody. This was just something I'm doing on the fly, so I didn't really plan this one. timgentle.com/webinars. So I'm going to post this directly from my phone. That's one of the things I mentioned later on, but I've just created that. It's a bit hard to read, of course. I think someone's just tweeted now about me. Thank you. Location, why not? I'll add in Bendigo. Done. And coming to you live from Think.Digital webinar series, Twitter demo. And I'll show you this how it comes up in my feed. Post. Okay, I've done that. Just give that a couple of seconds. I will now go back to the screen to show you how that panned out. All right, so let's see if that worked. We'll click refresh. And there we go. Coming to you live from the Think Digital webinar series, Twitter demo. Learn more, timgentle.com/webinars. And when I click on that, it then goes to my webinar page. So it's not that hard. It's nothing to be scared about. Those that are out there right now on Twitter, why don't you do a little reply or a favor on that one and let us know if you're enjoying it. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. We're moving on now. We're moving on to YouTube. Cool. Alrighty, YouTube. I love YouTube. So what can we do about that? Well, we can do a lot. First of all, there's 800 million users using it each month. That's a lot of people checking it out. Now, they're checking it out on their mobile. They're checking it out on their TV, their smart TV that's connected to the net. They're checking it out on their laptops and their desktops and all sorts of things. You know, it's actually the second highest searched site in the world, all right? So just so you know, Google owns YouTube, all right? So if you're thinking about getting ranked in Google, getting involved in YouTube is a big plus. Now, there's over 3 billion hours of video watched each month. I mean, seriously, guys, get outside. But at the end of the day, YouTube is getting smashed. Now, what are some tips and what are some benefits? Well, first of all, it's free, okay? Don't worry, it doesn't cost you anything. And it's got a huge reach. Whack a video up onto YouTube and then you can then pump it out to your current members or new and existing clients. It's great for SEO and great to get ranked. And you can also service existing clients and members. Don't just think of it as promotional material. You can add some how-to videos, how to register for an event, how to prepare your dog for a show, how to, plant the crop at the right time. Whatever you need to do, just understand YouTube it's a video host and you can use it for lots of different things. Now, I definitely encourage you to embed the videos back on your site. So you can use YouTube to sort of house the videos, but then you can embed them. You can place them on your website or in your blog. And you can upload directly from a mobile. Gee, I would love to be able to show you that, but we probably don't have time today. So please understand, you can install the YouTube app on your mobile, okay? And you can upload directly to your YouTube channel. So let's have a little look at YouTube. Jumping in and out here, I hope you don't mind, but a lot of people sort of comment about, showing things and they like that. Now, I'm not signed in, Okay, so you're looking here at my YouTube channel, all right? And we've got lots of different things here. We've got all my, all my different videos and what I've done. I can click on a video.
Afternoon, Tim Gentle from Think.Digital, and I have just arrived in town. I'm in Donald.
Good old Donald. Yeah, a few of you are joining me that met me out there at Donald. Gotta love Donald. Anyway, so here I've got a video that I've used a GoPro, just so you know, and I've recorded a video and then I've uploaded it to my YouTube channel. So, I can sign in if I want to. Again, I really don't have time to do that. But what I wanted to show people was this. Look at this. So now that the video's up, I can click on share and I can grab that link. Well, I could use that link in many different forms. I could, copy it and put it in an email. I could copy it and put it into Facebook or, into Twitter. Or if I want to, I can embed it. Gotta love the embed code. Now, you don't have to understand the technical side of this today, but what this does is allow you to place, I'm just going to copy that now, a video into your website. Let me show one that's been done rather than sort of try and recreate something. But what you'll see here is that this video here is sitting on YouTube. So I can click play. I've used the embed code there.
Okay, so here we are at the Building Your Online Strategy. It's thanks to the Small Business Fair.
Wow, I do talk about online strategy a lot. Either way, we've got a video sitting here in my blog, and that was just a bit of fun I showed one night. But I uploaded it to YouTube, and I use YouTube for that. Have a look at my homepage too, guys. Latest video posts. I've actually set up a YouTube feed. So when I upload videos to YouTube, they automatically appear on my website. You've got to love that. And look at that. I've set up a Twitter feed. Okay. So when I tweet, they automatically appear on my website. All right, back to the presentation. Keep me on track, everybody. We're getting to the close of the workshop. Okay, social media tools. So now that you know a little bit about Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, are there any other tools to help you manage it? They can be a lot of work. Well, there are. I don't know if you've heard of Hootsuite or things like Social Sprout, but they are great tools. I'll quickly show you them so you can get your head around them. But Hootsuite is a social media management tool. Okay, so you can actually go in here and sign up for free, and then you can have multiple social medias coming back into this environment. So you can link your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube, and you can sort of manage it all in one spot. And same with Sprout Social. I always get this wrong. I reckon it's Social Sprout. Let's see if we get it right. I don't know which one it is. Sprout Social, there you go. This was one I used when I ran the digital agency, and it was excellent. Now, both of these offer reporting. There are definitely costs involved if you want to, have advanced levels and things like that. I think there's no free one on Sprout Social. But the other thing that I quite like about it is that it has really good reporting. So these tools will allow you to create graphs and, report back to your directors and say, hey, we did this. But the other thing it allows you to do is scheduling. All right, so you can schedule on Monday morning your 5 tweets of the week, your 2 Facebook posts. You can do that anyway within Facebook, but you can also do that within these tools. It's got great reporting, as I've always mentioned, but please be careful not to become too lazy. All righty. So what I mean by that is, people in Twitter, they speak differently than people in Facebook. So, understand that even though you can do mass posts out of Hootsuite, I'd be tailoring them for the different audiences. All right, now social media integration, you saw it on my website, but the big thing to remember is to create some like and share buttons on your site. So when you've got a website, put these on it and create feeds. So what are these? Let's have a little look at them. So one of my mates, he's named Ash O'Neill. Gotta love what he does down there on the Mornington Peninsula. Pretty impressive, art and things like that. But what I like is that not only has he got his social media, so that's up here, you can visit his social media pages. That's pretty common, all right? But if I go to the blog, I'm hoping Ash has done this, and if I click on, say, this article, I'm hoping he's got share and like and things like that. So when you read it, yeah, there you go, right down here. So I'm not logged into Facebook, but that'd normally have a Facebook one there. But if I want to tweet about this, I can. So he's added those onto his site. Now, to get those onto your site, I use a program called Share This. Alrighty. So Share This is a free little widget developer. You just go in here and it creates those share buttons, and then you can add them to your site. So if you want this on your site, then use Share This. That's a good way to do it. But the other thing he's got is social media feeds. Check this out. So on his website, I'll just log in so we're logged in. You can see here that he's got a Facebook feed, he's got a Twitter feed, an Instagram feed, a Pinterest feed. So it's a great way to update your website by having these feeds come through. I've got a new website coming together. I'll show you. Those that have joined me get to check out all the goods. 2015. I've got a new website on the horizon. I'm very excited about this. There I am. And if I go to my social page, you'll see here I'm creating feeds. All right, look at that. Go Hawkers. We did win on the weekend. And you can see here it's all sort of coming together. So you can have this on your own website. Talk to your developer or drop me an email and I can potentially point you in the right direction for that. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? All right, now the other thing you want to do is install apps on your phone. I recommend you do this. So Instagram's got it, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they've all got apps. And if you're wandering around with your mobile phone, if you're on your property, if you're at your show, if you're in your business, start taking some pics and some videos and then upload it directly to your social media using apps. So social media advertising, I'm not going to go into it other than give you some dot points. So you can reach new audiences and you can re-engage existing. Remember I talked about the algorithm? Well, yeah, you can definitely do advertising to re-engage them. Now, Twitter also has advertising and YouTube as well. It's extremely targeted. If you might want to say things like, I want to target people that live within 100 kilometers of Rockhampton that are interested in horses. And that'll only show your ad to people's profile in Facebook that live within 100 kilometers of Rockhampton that are interested in horses. How cool is that? Now you can definitely manage your spend. Hey, I only want to spend $5 a day or $50 a week or $50 a month. And it's great because it's got a lot of transparency and reporting. This many ads were placed and this many clicks. This is what they did after clicking. They went here, they did this, and as a result, you've got X amount of likes and shares and new members and all sorts of things. So great reporting in social media advertising. And what about measurement? How do you know this is all working? Well, guys, it's quite simple. Just ask your customers, ask your members. Hey, did you see the post? Or how did you find out about us? Oh, actually, I was on Facebook and your ad came up in my feed. Or, oh, well, I'm here today because I saw the video you created of last year's show. It was awesome. Now, Google Analytics is brilliant. It's a free piece of code that you can place on your website and that will track people's visits. So it'll know that they've come from Twitter. It'll know that they've come from YouTube. So Google Analytics will be able to help you monitor where people are coming from. And if they're coming from your YouTube channel, well, hey, you're doing a great job. Now, also, all of the social media have their own analytics. So, for example, Facebook has what's called insights, and you can see how many people are liking and sharing and engaged in your content. So you can measure it. It's not like, oh, how many people saw my ad in the newspaper? No, it's definitely got a lot of transparency in the online world. So there are some notable mentions. To finish off, drum roll please. Notable mentions. Have fun, guys. It is good to have a bit of humor in social media. You know, people like it. And at the end of the day, you don't have to be too serious. But make sure you be responsive. It's really, really important for people to understand they're being heard. Don't wait 3 weeks, 2 weeks, or even a week to respond to a post. Respect privacy. You know, if you're going around and taking people's photo and going to be using it on social media, you may like to ask for their permission. When I worked at the Royal Melbourne Show doing their social media, part of the ticket entry on the back of the ticket was, you know, the idea that, you know, there would be official photographers and that the photos could be used for marketing purposes. Now, people are on their mobiles. They're not necessarily sitting at their desk. So, you know, keep it short, keep it sweet. They're scrolling and they're sort of looking at things. You've got to make things pop up and attract their attention. And really, reporting or analytics is the key. You need to understand what's working and what's not. So we need to develop an action plan now, and we're drawing to the end of the webinar. So what I want you to do is think about the next steps that you're planning on taking. Okay, so what are they? Well, definitely develop a social media policy. Right at the start of this webinar, I gave you some things to think about. You know, I didn't mention things like setting a budget, but, you know, that's another thing you should be thinking about. But those questions are important. Potentially, you might like me to come out and run a social media strategy session with your organization where we dig in a lot deeper. The next thing is to develop a content plan. Think about when your event is or the seasons of your business. It could be summer or winter. You know, think about when, you know, it's lambing season or when your fruit, you know, is ready for harvest. Think about when things are going to happen and develop a content plan around that. Yeah, we want to develop a video, you know, before, you know, just as the lambs are born. We just want to make sure that we've got some photos of the snow on the mountains. Now, install Google Analytics. If you haven't got it on your website, get your website developer to put it on. It's free. It might take them half an hour to put it on, maybe less. They may charge you for that, but well worth it. And get them to send you a monthly report. Google Analytics can send you a PDF and it can be sent to any email. So get that set up. Now, integrate back into your website. You saw Ash O'Neill. You saw my new website. I highly recommend you put likes and shares and Facebook feeds because really, in one respect, it updates your website by using social media. So before you go back into your busy life, you know, spend a couple of minutes now to really digest what you heard. Think about the things that stood out. You know, create an action plan. Think about the next 3 things you're going to do to improve your use of social media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I love feedback, and you know, I have definitely talked underwater today, but a huge amount of content to get through in the time that we only have. It is recorded. You'll be sent a recording, so you can go back and pause and play and revisit some of the things I've sent. But how do you give me feedback? Well, if I could ask you to jump on to facebook.com, Think.Digital, and just drop me a review. It's so great. You know, I actually get work out of that too. So you're helping me and I'm helping you and we're all helping each other. Some of you have been emailing me. That's been brilliant. And thanks you for the feedback. I've definitely taken that on board. But you can get me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @TimGentle. And you can definitely do a hashtag Think.Digital if you're going to be tweeting about me. Tell your friends, please tell them. And where can they find out more details? Well, timgentle.com/webinar is the place to go, and I'll be updating people over the next few months on all my upcoming webinar series. So what is the next webinar? Well, we're jumping into a CRM. Yep, that's right, a customer relationship management tool. This is all about email marketing and nurturing your database. This is about, I guess, getting repeat purchases. So if you're interested in sort of centralizing your customer information, then this is a webinar not to be missed. So please, thank you once again for joining me today. Please visit timgentle.com webinar or tell your friends. And I encourage you to jump on to Twitter, Facebook, and leave me a review. So without further ado, that's Tim Gentle signing out from the Think Digital headquarters. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Some of you have been sending me questions via email and Twitter. I've definitely been answering those, so thank you for that. Tell your friends. Catch you later.